You're watching Morning Ride on the NTA network. Still about your health, still about you, but this time focusing in general on everybody who desires good health and to be vibrant and productive. Let's meet, greet, and welcome Dr. Kenneth Okocha. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning, Thelma.
It's great to have you, from medical issue to medical issue. But what we'll be talking about this morning, you said that you used the word refractive, and that makes us think of the eye.
Yes, that's
so
right.
you're an eye doctor.
That's right. That's right.
So are you an optometrist, ophthalmologist, or an optician? Or are these three things one and the same?
Okay, that's a good question. It's a good point for us to start from because there's a lot of confusion as to who you should go to when you have any eye care need. Well, I'll begin by saying that I'm an optometrist, and there are three main players in the eye care sector. You have the optometrist, you have the ophthalmologist, and then you have the optician. The optician is also called the dispensing optician. Okay, the optician is the technician of the eye care sector. So when you need to fix your glasses, fix your frames, manufacture lenses, the optician or the dispensing optician is the person who takes care of that. The optometrist, which is the where I belong to, the optometrist is the what you call the primary eye care practitioner. Okay, he is the person who should be your first line of contact when you need eye care services. He's trained and he's licensed to do eye examinations, do proper diagnosis of the eye and the visual system, and then make recommendations for management, which could include glasses, contact lenses, exercises, counseling. Yeah, so that's where the optometrist comes in. So he's trained and licensed to do that, and basically manage what we call anterior segment problems. The eye itself is broken into the anterior segment and the posterior segment. The anterior segment is what you can see. So most of us are trained to manage things that have to do with the anterior segment. But when it comes to posterior segment, you have to do referrals.
Posterior is?
The back portion of the eye, which includes the retina.
That's
inside, yeah, the retina, the human lens, and other portions of the eye.
So that's your focal point.
So, the ophthalmologist is the third player. He is called the eye surgeon. So when there's any need for surgery or management of severe posterior segment issues, the ophthalmologist should be the one. The optometrist is not trained or licensed to do that. Okay, so when you have any eye
problem... it's not like it's a work in progress. An optometrist continues to study to become an ophthalmologist.
No, it's a specialty on its own, yes.
So that one too
yes, the ophthalmologist is a medical doctor who has specialized in ophthalmology, yes. You have a medical doctor who has specialized in obstetrics and gynecology. A medical doctor who has become a pediatrician,
for kids.
Yeah, but the optometrist is trained, as what we call a primary eye care practitioner. He's your primary contact with the eye care field. So if you have any eye problems, the first person you should run to is your optometrist. There should be no confusion, the ophthalmologist or the optician. It's like when you have any general medical need, you run to see the general practitioner who can now manage the condition or might refer you to the specialist in that area.
When need be.
That's right.
So now, let's focus on the eye now. Challenges that people can face and treatment. When we talk about refractive errors, what are we talking about specifically?
The concept of refractive errors stems from the fact that the human eye, is also an optical system. Now, the way the human eye, the way we see, begins with light triggering electrical impulses that travel from our eye to our brain. The brain, the pathway to the brain, and the eyeball itself are all integral parts of the visual system. If there is any harm to any part or any anomaly in any part, it will impair vision. You might have a good eyeball, good visual pathway, and then there's an injury that affects the visual cortex of the brain, which is the portion that interprets signals from the eye. So if there's damage to the visual cortex, even though the eyeball seems okay, the person will be blind still.
But I heard a case recently. I know somebody was seeing today, and then he woke up the next morning, seeing very well, like late 20s, and woke up one day and his vision was blurred.
Yes.
And then before he could run in a week.
Yes. There could be reduction in vision
That you didn't notice.
Yeah, no, there could be reduction in vision due to refractive errors, but there could be reduction in vision also due to pathologies. For instance, if a person has what we call acute angle closure glaucoma, it can lead to blindness in a few hours. Yes.
Acute what's glaucoma?
Yes. So let's not. I don't want to model this. So we can get the.
Let's explain that word you use.
Now, for instance, one of the things that could cause a sudden loss of vision is glaucoma.
Okay, great.
Glaucoma is just a big word to describe elevated pressure in the eye, which is not controlled over time, and then does damage.
So it can happen just by
itself.
itself.
So there are two types. Yes, there is one called the primary open angle glaucoma, which will take a long time. It's like the thief that steals gradually, no symptoms of discomfort, no signs except maybe routine eye exams. We also have the acute angle closure, which is instant. It's called the better of the two thieves, actually, because you have intense pain, cloudiness of vision, redness of eyes, oval pupils, and because of that you can run for help and get help instantly. But if it's not attended to within hours, the person can lose their vision. Okay,
and
so
it's through no fault of ours.
Yes.
It just happens.
Yes.
Okay.
So, but refractive errors, I mentioned that the eye is also an optical system. The concept of refraction is basically from the fact that light travels in straight lines. And when light moves from one medium to another medium, the pathway of light is changed. Whenever light moves from air into water, it's bent. The process of light being bent from its original direction is called refraction. Okay, so when light enters the way we all see is light entering our eyes and stimulating the retina. The stimulus for sight is light. So when light hits the retina, the process starts. Now, if light enters the eye and the light is not focused on the retina, maybe it's focused in front or behind the retina, we see there is a refractive error or error of refraction. So this is the reason for a lot of the complaints people have when they have to wear glasses or have to wear contact lenses. And there are about 4 basic refractive errors which we deal with all the time. The first one is what you call myopia or short-sightedness. This is because when light enters the eye, the light is focused before the retina. So there's no trigger or stimulus for adequate sense of sight to be generated. Okay, now if it's the next group is what we call hyperopia or long-sightedness or hypermetropia. That's the old nomenclature for that. Now, hypermetropia or hyperopia is because the light, when it enters the eye, is focused behind the retina. Okay, these people may be able to see far, but they are uncomfortable when they are doing near work. Okay, now the third group is astigmatism. This is a big word to describe unevenness of the surface of the eye. Normally, the eyeball, the front of the eye called the cornea, is evenly shaped like a football.
Okay.
Now, but in some people, there's some undulation. You have undulations on the surface of the cornea. So this causes dispersion of light or scattering of light, such that images are not focused properly. In fact, the word astigmatism, is a compound word. Normally, when light enters our eye and images are formed in the retina, it's formed on a spot called a stigma. Now, if you have astigmatism, where there's unevenness of the corneal surface, the image formed on the retina is not on a spot. It is scattered or spread out. So we see there is astigma or no stigma. So that's basically the concept behind astigmatism. The fourth group is presbyopia. It's just a big word for age-related vision change.
Many big words in this eye refractive error.
I guess so. So the presbyopia is an age-related vision change. Most blacks show signs of presbyopia between 35 and 40, where they can't read tiny prints. When they have to read tiny prints, it's a burden. They have to push it back. They have to twist their head. They have to get very bright lights, for them to see. These are the early signs of presbyopia.
Tell us solution.
Okay. Now, but for Caucasians, it's different. For whites, they show symptoms
50.
from about 40. No, like 40. Most of them are like 40.
That's too early now.
Yes.
But I want to ask you something before we go further. All these errors, are they genetic? That is, if your parents have challenges with the eye, is it more likely for their children to have?
Yes.
It just happened?
Yes. Most refractive errors we say are congenital. That is, people are born with them. We say they are familial. They flow in families. Especially myopia or short-sightedness.
Okay.
Yes. Although sometimes lifestyles can also induce
Okay.
some kind of errors. For instance, if you're somebody who does a lot of near work all the time,
Maybe like a computer?
yes, maybe at very close range, you know, it could induce a form of myopia. Yes,
Myopia,
but
okay.
most myopias really are congenital, astigmatism, congenital. No, the most tricky of them is hyperopia, because hyperopia might be there and there will be no symptoms or no discomfort because the person can see clearly, they can see far and they can read clearly. But hyperopias, their difficulty shows up if when you do a lot of near work. Some students end up maybe failing exams because they're not able to read for long.
Are there solutions?
Yes.
Well, I feel as though I've gone to read a course in university with this child.
All
But
right.
are there solutions? People
Yes,
want to know.
yeah,
Is there hope?
there are solutions. Yes, the first three I mentioned, hyperopia, myopia, and astigmatism, these are non-age dependent refractive errors. Okay, but presbyopia is an age dependent refractive error.
Okay.
Now I'll begin with the commonest. You know, presbyopia. The solution for that is, you know, since it's an optical problem, it's an optical aid the person needs. A pair of glasses, presbyopic glasses, and or contact lenses will help the person, but it's not curative.
Okay.
It will simply aid your vision
Okay.
when you're
It's
doing
not
your near
curative.
work. Exactly.
Will it degenerate? Will it get worse?
You know, it's age dependent. It's going to keep changing until the age of about 60. From about 35, 40, it keeps changing. So your prescription might be okay today. After about a year, 2 years, you say,
We'll
oh,
keep updating.
my glasses are weak. Your glasses are not weak. The change has occurred in your refractive error. So a pair of glasses will help you. But for the myopia, hyperopia, astigmatism, it's the same thing as glasses, contact lenses. But there is a new approach now in managing refractive errors called refractive surgery. One of the commonest is LASIK. The basic concept.
So then we go see the ophthalmologist now.
Ophthalmologist, thank you very much.
But you will refer.
We'll refer, exactly.
The optometrist will refer.
Yes, if the person needs refractive surgery, then if the individual needs refractive surgery, we have to refer to the ophthalmologist. Now, not all ophthalmologists do refractive surgery. People are trained specially to do refractive surgery, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
We want to thank you. This is just totally awesome. We can now tell, but basically, people can seek help.
Exactly.
There's help.
Yes, exactly.
And it's preventive, but hardly ever is it curative.
It can
Refractive
be, yes,
errors.
refractive errors. In curative terms, you're talking about refractive surgery, but there are criteria you have to satisfy for that to occur.
Surgery,
Yes, but I want to say this is very important. If you have a child who's always going close to the television screen, always wanting to sit in front of the class, that may be a sign of a refractive error.
Go see an optometrist.
An optometrist, that's right.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Dr. Kenneth.
My pleasure.
Okocha.
My pleasure.
We will tell our friends and family to come see you.
My
They need
pleasure.
wise counsel when it comes to eyes. I have a nephew and a niece now. Every morning we need to withdraw them back to the city. They stand right
because
in
they
front
can't see.
of the television.
Because you
set.
can even flog them, but
So
they can't
now
see.
we'll pass the message on.
Yes, that's right.
We'll come see you and get wise counsel. Thank you very much. You're watching
pleasure.
Morning Ride. We've been talking about your eye, Take very good care of it. Seek wise counsel. Ophthalmologist, optometrist, optician. 3 different areas they manage talking about the eye, okay? You can see me now because your eyes are in good working condition. But when you notice anything, be very observant, very vigilant. See an optometrist as soon as you possibly can.